getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
get it.
Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to get it.
They haven't got it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NicolsOilPros.com series for the Airline Workers Appreciation 125, sponsored by Will Jester. On comms, we're with myself, James Parfitt, alongside Tom Cairns this evening, and we are at Darlington Raceway. This is a very interesting circuit and one I hope you will all love and enjoy. It's got the Craftsman, the Xfinity and the Cup Series here this weekend. You can go and check it out if you head over to darlingtonraceway.com. The surface of the track itself is asphalt. It's 1.366 miles, 4 turns. Turns 1 and 2 are 25 degrees, turn 3 and 4 are 23 degrees. Front stretch is only 3, back stretch is only 2, and Denny Hamlin in his Camry in the 2018 NASCAR Cup Series holds the record on a 28.332. Let's bring you up the current scores on the doors. It is Tyler Merritt out in front on 66 with Jeff Slaughter on 63. Al Corey in second on 62 with Jonathan Wiley in fourth on 59. Then you got Cameron Kane, John Crutchley, Keith Hanlon, Matthew Harmon, Mike Nichols and Ward Fisher. Don't forget, guys, if you want to get yourselves involved, 5 nights of racing here on the Triple Bypass Racing. Just head over to triplebypassracing.com. Sundays Gem 4, Tuesdays is a new SRX, Wednesdays Road Racing, Thursdays Xfinity, and Fridays is the GTP GT3 series, so go and check it out. 14 race season as well, and you've got session opening times guaranteed. Heartbreaking racing, well, I'm sure we will see that here today. Big shout out to our sponsor this evening, Mr. Will Jester, in that number 74 machine, so we will try and catch up and have a chat with Will on the first caution. We're at 10 over or under yellows. I'm saying 56. Oh no, you mean 6. I'm going to say 3. Word. Let's see what Tom thinks when he comes into the booth now. Tom, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you, James. And something different for me to be talking about of this Darlington Raceway circuit, home to a lot of NASCAR events, as it has been doing so since 1950 when this circuit first opened. We've just had practice. The drivers are about to begin their qualifying session to determine the grid for today's race. I've just seen a few times going on the bottom. I'm sure those lap times will improve in due course. But yes, I'm ready to go for this one, and it should be quite an entertaining event, it has to be said. Of course, it may feel like unsociable hours for us in the UK broadcasting this. At the time of recording, it is 2 a.m, but I'm sure for those over in the States, it will feel very normal to them in terms of the timings of when they go racing. But I'm sure they'll get used to it, and we'll get used to perhaps doing it at this time of the night, won't we, James?
Yeah, we definitely will. It's 2 a.m. Welcome in, Slicks. Get your popcorn, buddy. You know it. Sit back with your popcorn and enjoy this one as well. Darlington Raceway is an interesting circuit. It's interesting because it has a very high banking on the outside. Now, if you don't know what I mean by that, let's try and pick up who's going to be on a lap here. Mark Herzog. You can see how close they run to the wall. That bottom line past the striped line is apron. They are not going to want to use that as best they can. They will literally have no banking to run off. Their cars will be slow, and they're going to struggle, of course, and that's one thing that we don't want here. It's 6 p.m. over here in Vegas. Nice, Slicks. Thanks, mate. You know what I mean, for that one. It's 2 a.m. for me and Tom in the UK. But they're going to have to be very, very careful here, Tom. That high line has got to be run, and I do mean got to be. They cannot afford to go further down into that, partly because they just won't carry any speed.
Well, you want to be getting as good of exit as possible, and being on the outside, up close to the wall, that's always going to be the best line to take. If you want to either get a good lap or be able to get a better exit than your rival on the exit of the corners. I mean, there's 4 turns in total, which may feel like 2 to some drivers. But yeah, qualifying won't mean too much because the lap times are going to be very close anyway. And as we were discussing off air, anyone can win. Even if you are starting from the back, anyone can win. So a lot of people, it may feel like qualifying is not really that relevant. But we'll have to wait and see. But I think it'll give us a good idea as to who is going to be quick in tonight's showing and who perhaps isn't as such.
Yeah, see the times on the left-hand side, that is their best times. The track itself, it has 2 nicknames here. It's called the Lady in Black and the track Too Tough to Tame. Now, why is it called the Lady in Black? Well, there's 2 reasons that I learned off Kenton the other day on Tuesday, and I can only remember one of them, and that was the track crew come out at night and lay a line of asphalt around the racing line, of course, over the night matures, and then it goes black for the morning. That makes it very challenging for the drivers as well, and that's where the Lady in Black came from. There is a cooler reason why that's called the Lady in Black, but I will have to Google it because I cannot remember what the purpose of it is. Now, the track shape itself here, Tom, as well, not a traditional shaped oval as we expect to see. We've got this very egg-shaped oval, and that is partly because the person who designed the circuit had to make it this way due to the fact that there was somebody who did not want to relocate when this circuit was built, and that was partly because of, at the end there was a pond and they wouldn't relocate, so therefore it had to be built in this way to compensate to get a racetrack into the area that they have got there as well. Now, for the grid itself, Ben Harcombe is on pole with Tyler Merritt, Brad Cress in 3rd, John Crutchley in 4th, Mark Herzog 5th, Al Corey in 6th, John Campbell 7th, Matt Harmon, Alex Goff, Sawyer Mullins, Jason Benson and Cameron Kane down in 12th place. Jonathan Wiley, Tex Nichols, Patrick Swisshelm, Mike Weeder and Cody Sanderson round off the 17 with Chris Melton, Ward Fisher, Michael Seymour and Will Jester there as well. So that's basically the grid for you, I think, Tom. As I say, I don't know how many cautions. If you could put a number on cautions here, Tom, how many would you say for the evening?
I think I'm going to play it safe. I think given the size of the grid, I'll probably say 4, but that's me being generous.
Okay. 4.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Got you guys on my TikTok as well, in my car. Hey! Welcome in, TikTok. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know how busy you are over there, obviously Mike as well, but yeah, thanks so much for that one. That's a new experience for us being on there as well. Ben Harcombe, Tyler Merritt, or Tyler Thumbsticks Merritt, if you don't know why we call him Thumbsticks, that young man in that machine is on a controller. He will never go to a wheel. He tried a wheel, did not like it, and is driving on a controller, so that's why we call him Tyler Thumbsticks Merritt, and Mr. Thumbsticks is on the back end of his car as well. We will be up and running very, very shortly here for the Airline Workers Appreciation 125 live from Darlington. You're going to guess... Oh no, how many are you guessing, Slick? 7 or what have you done there? Let's see. I still think maybe 2, 3. These guys, if you haven't watched Triple Bypass before, you should know they are fairly clean racing. But let's get this up and running. Let's get it underway. They're coming across. There's Barney there on with his green flag. Into the Geico restart zone we go, and it is green, green, green. And the Airline Workers Appreciation 125 is up and running, and at the moment Tyler Merritt and Ben Harcombe running side by side. The 38 of Merritt into the wall earlier on with Brad Kress. Then they've got John Crutchley, Matt Herzog, Al Corey, Matt Harmon, Sawyer Mullins and John Campbell tucked in right behind him. Everybody got away cleanly, no real dramas, and as I said off there, Tom, you can see they've settled into that single line racing.
Yeah, so they've gone into single file throughout this first lap. They know that the race is not going to be won at this stage. So it's just a matter of just taking it very easy, looking after the tyres at this other stage. I don't know how many pit stops they're looking to do. I can imagine it could be somewhat of a sprint to the flight, but I could well be wrong. So it's Merritt who's leading at the present moment, ahead of Harcombe and Kress, with Crutchley just a little bit further back in 4th position. But I think, as I say, it's just about settling into a rhythm. And when the opportunity is there, they can maybe start going for it and start giving those head a little bit more of a challenge. 2 laps are in and no such problems throughout the field. No one getting involved in any tangles or spinning around or anything like that. Just smooth, clean driving in the opening stages.
Yeah, they are. They're just running around the top line. You can see, as we have said, how close they will be up on that high side. You can see the wall there, and these guys are going to be running as close as they physically can. That's it there as well. Will they earn the Darlington stripe? What do we mean by that? Well, it's if they're going to hit the wall, they will get a lovely stripe down the right-hand side of their car that will take their paint off. That is where the Darlington stripe comes from. It is almost like a badge of honour to say that you've raced at Darlington. You've got your stripe there. So Tropic, so welcome in. Let's go 06 baby, he says in YouTube chat as well. That is Sawyer Mullins, who's running around currently in 8th place there. And then we've got this line of cars. You can see in the background is Jonathan Wiley. Behind that is Tex Nichols and our today's sponsor Will Jester in that 74 machine, just about to try and run underneath Tex as he gets that job done. Tex comes off that top wall. Now he's got another issue as well. Cody Sanderson, he's off the wall again. He's got to be a little bit careful. He's going down the order as Tex, with Ward Fisher now coming to try and come underneath him as well. Don't want to hit the wall there, Tom. Very dangerous when you're racing so high up the racetrack.
Yeah, Nichols clicked the wall as he was going toe-to-toe with Wiley, I think it was, into the first turn. And that little tap, it just takes one tap to really knock your rhythm and send you down the order right there and then. So I think it's just a matter of not pushing too hard at this early stage. The last thing you want is picking up any damage and then having to go to the pits, and then you're well out of sync with the rest of the pack. And now we're right on board with Ben Harcombe in the number 78. This is after the race leader Tyler Merritt. Stays within the 16 of him. And what does it come down to, James, then? Because is this what they, in terms of how much do they need to push the stage compared to maybe later on? In terms of percentage, how much do you think they are pushing?
Well, they've got to be aware that they've got 3 sets of tyres, okay? Generally, you would look at 30, 30, 30, right? 30, 60, 90, finish the last 30 off in the last set. Now, obviously, that's easy for me to say, but I'm not the one in the car. I don't know what they're doing on their inputs with it, whether or not they're pushing too much. You can see on board with Harcombe here, he's very minimal on his inputs as much as he can. They will be either lifting about now and coasting through, or they're going to use this midsections coming quite hot and use the brakes. It depends on what they're doing in the car. Now, some people will roll in and lift early and go round, which of course will obviously influence how much scrubbing they're going to do on the tyres, because scrubbing in NASCAR is one of the most important things. You want to have minimal inputs on your steering wheel, and you don't want them tyres to scrub up really badly. Now, when you're looking at a corner, you think, well, they're going to go left, it'll be the left fronts that will be the problem. It won't be. The right fronts, right rears will be the worst ones for tyre wear. Now, basically the reason for that is because they're the ones doing the work. They're the ones trying to rotate the car, trying to get it hooked in, trying to get it round, and you'll find it will be the right side that will go first. Now, some people will come in and change just the right sides, others will come in and change all 4. From my perspective here, they're on 100% fuel, but it depends if 100% fuel how far it can go here. Sometimes we've seen at racetracks it can go for 60, 70 laps, other times it can only go for 40. So on a short track, I'm probably looking towards the higher 60s mark maybe of what they're able to do on the fuel, but they are definitely going to have to look at tyres, and tyres could come in as probably as soon as lap 30, roundabout where you would traditionally go for your free stops. But again, there's no stage brakes, so they can't use that brake to go and change the tyres. If they do run green, they're going to be green, and they've got to make green flag stops, which will guarantee they're going to be 2 laps down, and then everybody else is going to be 2 laps down once they make their stops. So it's a very much a rotational base. NASCAR, and this is where the delusion comes in sometimes from Europeans, is NASCAR is just left turn, right? But it isn't. It's about keeping your tyres, fuel strategy. When are you going to go in? If you've got to make a green flag, when do you go in? You don't want to go in singles. It's never a good idea at high draft tracks like Dega and Daytona. You want to make sure you're in at least with 2 or 3 other cars to give you a draft. But here, not so much of an issue. Draft isn't really dependent at this circuit, so you probably could afford to go in on your own, but you might want to find a friend to go in with if you can anyway, just to be on the safe side that you'll get the draft on the way out. So ideally 30-30-30, but they might not go that far.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at Matt Harmon, who looks to have Mullins for company right behind. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember. But we're right on board with Harmon now. He will be right behind the number 46, that will be, of Corey ahead. Al Corey, oh, number 45, sorry, not number 46, my apologies for that. But yeah, Al Corey, who's chasing after. How much is he going for it at this stage? It doesn't sound like he's pushing too much at this point. I think he's just happy to just sit in behind. So if they start squabbling, then they will end up losing ground to the cars in front. As you can see, Corey hitting the wall there as he comes onto the straight there. That went over the handling too much, and Harmon was not being able to take advantage. So he's really just waiting back for the right opportunity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what's basically going to happen is he's going to tuck it in behind Corey, running off that high line, and what he wants to make sure he's not doing is trying to scrub too much, trying to come underneath Corey. You can see he's looking and looking, and he's been quicker coming out of turn 3, going through the rotation of 1 and 2, so he needs to be aware that obviously without Corey at the moment, Corey might be starting to get tired there, he might start to suffer, he's going to run that high line, and he might end up in the wall. So it is all about what they're going to be able to do. The thing is as well, you see it up front, Ben Harcombe is currently running behind Mr. Thumbsticks himself in that Ford, of course, and then we've got the Toyota behind and Chevy behind that of John Crutchley. It looks like at the moment Harcombe is a lot quicker. The hometown Windsor man there battling away with Thumbsticks. He's got the run now as well. Is Harcombe going to get it? He's going to go up the inside. Merritt's on the outside. He's going to stay low as he can. He's going to lose that area of effect with the banked corner. And Tyler Merritt just still manages to hold on, and that is one of the issues with the banking. If you go off the banking or you can't use the banking, then that is going to be the result. Sawyer Mullins has gone into the pits and left the pits. I'm not entirely sure what's happened to him, but I can tell you now he's being chased down by Ben Harcombe and Tyler Merritt. It's going to be very interesting with back markers how this one's going to work here, whether or not they're not going to be able to go 3 wide. So for Harcombe's opportunity, he's got to be looking at blocking him in using that back marker. So let's see what happens here as well at Darlington. Hope you are all well. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz. Both men into the wall. Thumbsticks hit it first, Harcombe hit it after, and now they've got to be a little bit careful. It's all about how they're going to manage this traffic as well here, Tom. I think this traffic could play a massive part in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get to have a caution so far, hence why the leaders have been able to back up to the back markers. Harcombe behind Merritt in the battle for the race lead. They are going to be to these back markers. And you look at Cress, he's just right on the tail of these two in the number 9 on the right hand side of your screen. And how is he going to play this one? You can see one of the back markers remain out of the way. I think that was Mullins who just got out of the way there. And we've cut away to look at Michael Seymour playing off a move on, who's that?
Ward Fisher. Ward Fisher. Ward Fisher in the 84 red machine Chevrolet is there. He's just lost that place to Seymour. He did get past him first. They've swapped places no fewer than about 3 or 4 times over the last half lap, and it is Ward Fisher out in front in that battle. As I say, he's got Cody Sanderson right behind him. We can see the 56, Jonathan Wiley, has just come off the wall as well. Chris Melton's now going to try and make the outside. Wiley's gone to the inside. He needs to come up behind him. Melton has gone through. Job done. And today's sponsor, Will Jester, as we cut to him, goes and thumps the wall as well. So they've got to be careful of the way they're going to be hitting that wall here as well, especially with the damage model that iRacing has got. And we've got these 3. They are rapidly now closing on Patrick Swisselm, who is going to be under the cosh very, very shortly. We would expect the back marker, depending on where he's going to get caught, to probably drop low. I don't think he's going to run high up, but he will be looking, he should be looking to keep low, especially if they catch him on a straight here, Tom, which if they are on a straight, they've got a long straightaway to do it down, a long wide straightaway as well. So from Patrick's point of view, he should just come off to the left-hand side. But let's see where they catch him and how he gets on it here as well. Handling traffic, Tom, if you were in the car right about now and you're looking at Patrick, how would you sit back and think, right, how am I going to deal with him?
Right, so he won't want to do it through the corner, so he needs to try and, if they're right up on his tail, that's when he needs to move out of the way, because you don't want to be losing too much time there. That's not a good place to really hold them up there. That really could have knocked them off kilter, but he's out of the way now. And if there was a way to let the leaders through, that's probably not the best way to do it.
No, I think it could have been done a little bit more. I think it was helped by the fact that he did hit the wall. But now we've got Brad Kress in the mix here. He's got Harkham on his outside. The 78 machine, the Holy Rollers Hot Sauce Toyota there. And no way through for Brad Kress. He tried to capitalise on a little bit of carnage or calamity that went on with that back marker of Patrick Swisselm, but he could not make it. He's now got to come off the banking, and he's got to look for the run. With 25 laps in at the moment, if you've got 6 cautions or 6 for slicks, 6 for wearage, you're hoping that we start getting them, boys, because otherwise we're going to have green flag pit stops here as we've got this run here as well. Mookie Blaylock, let's go, Ben. As there, Ben Harkham in that number 78 machine in front of us. So a lot of action still happening. We've got Al Corey. He is chasing down John Crutchley, or the Nodge as you've known him here previously, and we'll see what happens with these times as well. Al Corey, the Canadian American, is on the racetrack there, and he is from Canada but now lives in Dallas. So across the broad spectrum here, Canadian, we've got Mike Weeder, we've got an Australian, a JC, John Campbell in his Dunkin' Donuts machine, and then we're into the Americans, which is pretty much most of the field here, Tom, as well. American Series, kind of expected that there would be Americans in there.
It's no surprise to see the vast majority of the races in NASCAR are from the States. But we have to remember that the US is a very large country in its own right, with many different states around there. Of course, you do see a few Canadians and maybe a few others away from North America, but it is predominantly sort of like a US sort of based championship. Although we do see a lot of European NASCAR in the real world of motorsport, don't we?
That's the thing. We've got, obviously, JPB run the European Truck League that we've got. We've got a mixture of everywhere in that one. All across Europe, Americans are in there as well. So that's been quite popular on a Tuesday evening for the UK. Once again, it's very interesting how, obviously, diverse iRacing and sim racing has got now, especially when we're looking at the fact of where people are from, how they're joining, you know, all of this sort of thing. Sim racing itself is really quite open up to everybody.
Absolutely, and if oval racing is your thing, whether it be in NASCAR or truck racing or ARCA or IndyCar, whatever it may be, then this is probably for you. Providing you have like an iRacing account, or even if you're just one of those sort of casual gamers. I mean, I even remember back when I was a kid, I used to have. Do you remember NASCAR 06 Total Team Control? Yeah, that's the throwback for me.
Cool, that was a long old time ago. Now, when we spoke about the race circuit earlier on, I did mention the name Lady in Black. There was a cool one there as well, and basically it was known as, what was his name who said it here as well? Darlington occupied Benny's forts, and this was basically no more place felt like home to Benny than Darlington, and that was Benny Phillips. And he wrote, as treacherous as Mata Hari, he wrote a comparison to the famous German spy whose cover was performing as an exotic dancer, as desirable as Hollywood's most beautiful actresses, as unpredictable as any woman. These are the virtues of the Lady in Black, and that is the nickname that stuck. Now, also on that one, it was only said twice from about Darlington, and it was only said twice, and that is where the famous Lady in Black come from. Apart from, obviously, the other reason was the crew used to paint asphalt around the inside, which used to turn the circuit jet black. So there you go. As I say, I think that one's a lot cooler than the first reason, to be fair, Tom.
Absolutely. We're a quarter of the way through the event now, as we are watching Harkin, or Merritt I should say. I think he's just putting another lap on someone there, or is that... No, he's actually in front of Harkin still. Must have been looking at the wrong car there, but we are riding on board with Tyler Merritt. He's coming over the line now to begin his 34th lap, and he is in control of this one, but Harkin is still seemingly playing mind games with him. I think someone's trying to bluff Merritt and he's deciding what he's going to do. But he's got all these back markers that he's still negotiating, and there goes Goff that has just got through, and the next one will be Sanderson in the 014 there. I can't quite see the numbers on the on the graphic there. Yeah, 1-4. Cody Sanderson has made his way through past Mike Weeder. I think Mike Weeder might have gone into the pits.
Yeah, Weeder has actually jumped into the pits. That's going to put him a lap down here, along with Alex Goff, Tex Nichols, Patrick Swisshelm, Sawyer Mullins and Cameron Kane are all currently a lap down. Have you done, Tom, have you done much sort of NASCAR racing? Have you driven much NASCARs?
No, not myself. Only from the sort of games, going back as far as... the PlayStation 2 side of things, but nothing, anything like the iRacing stuff.
And do you remember the famous Daytona racing game in the arcades?
I do actually. I do remember playing the sort of Daytona USA sort of gaming machines in the arcades. That's another throwback for me actually. That also reminds me when I was over in Brighton recently. I was like on a rally game or something like that, sort of drifting around, which was pretty fun with a manual transmission, because doing it with a manual transmission on a rally car is quite fun actually. So I'm interested to know what it's actually like when you're behind the wheel of a NASCAR, how a manual transmission works for them, because they have to keep the revs very, very high throughout every time they go round the corners, essentially, to maintain a constant speed.
Yeah, we can have a look on board here as well. This is Ben Harkham. Let's pick up on Mr. Thumbsticks himself to see what he's doing. You can see he's down to 148, 149 mid-corner. Then he's going to start going down and coming out on the high line. He'll get it up to round about 173, give or take. He'll start coming back down again through the 133s, keeping it in fourth gear of this Xfinity machine. in. He doesn't really need to come out of any gear whatsoever unless he's really, really struggling for tyres, and then he might start thinking about dropping it down to third. But at the moment, Tyler Merritt looks completely in control here and doing a great job once again. Out of the turn 2 they go, and moving on to that backstretch and into turn 3. These guys rocketing out. They're really, really close to the wall, doing an absolute stellar job. Would you be driving around here, Tom? Because you know you can get to drive a NASCAR in real life, which I find completely exciting. It's something that's on my bucket list of, you know, you can do it for about $3,000 at Dega. I think you can do it at Martinsville. I think it's also at Charlotte and Indy, the NASCAR experience. You do get to drive an Xfinity, Tom. Something you'd give a go? Because, you know, it's on my bucket list. I want to do that.
I wouldn't mind doing it. I mean, if Rockingham Motor Raceway, or Speedway as it is in the United Kingdom, if that was still a racetrack, maybe I could have given a NASCAR a go, but sadly it's not a racetrack nowadays. But yeah, answering your question, I wouldn't mind giving it a go, but probably not drive it, because I don't have a driver license myself, and that's quite essential to have if you're going to be driving one of these machines. But yeah, I wouldn't mind just being a passenger of it, because that way I can get to really absorb what the energy is like riding whether it be a Chevrolet or a Toyota or one of the other manufacturers of a NASCAR, Ford that is. Ford is another manufacturer which some of the drivers in this race are competing in, including Tyler Merritt.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite. I am, you know, full-on adrenaline junkie, right? Give me the car, give me the steering wheel. Here's my $3,000. I'm off. You know what I mean? Give me Dega at full speed. Let me know in YouTube chat if you'd want to go and drive a NASCAR around any of the circuits that I've mentioned. You can see they're just putting a lap now on Jonathan Wiley as he is running on that inside. We are going to start. We've got to start seeing green flag stop soon. Merritt's running the wall. That's going to be a problem if Harkham can get up the inside. He can't at the moment. There was wall taps there from Tyler Merritt out into the wall. He would have earned his Darlington stripe that time around, because he has run all the way down the wall on the right hand side, or the left hand side as you're looking at the card now. Next up on the list is Ward Fisher. He's going to move over as well. They've still got the 037 of Cameron Kane, who was hooked up onto the back of these 4. Ward Fisher comes up on him there. He's got to be a little bit careful. However, that is Cameron Kane laps down at the moment. He's 2 laps down, I believe, on the leader. He has got that Croc, it looks like a Croc liveried machine as well, which looks absolutely incredible. And if you do like Crocs like me, I am a big fan of Crocs, right? And I know it's, you know, Crocs and that. You can get NASCAR Crocs which actually have the rear wing attached to the back strap of the Crocs. For me, that's a no-brainer. I don't know, Tom, do you wear Crocs?
I don't wear Crocs myself, nor do I own any Crocs.
Oh, mate.
I can understand why some people, I mean, I don't know how often you use or wear Crocs.
Every day. Dude, they are literally my slippers around my house until I go out on the street. And even then, to be fair, I've been seeing in Morrison's wearing them as well. They're just too comfortable.
That's quite surprising, actually, because I don't know how. I can't imagine them being that comfortable unless I'm thinking of a different particular material where those who work sort of within the dentist or the hospital, because they also wear Crocs for hygiene.
Yeah, mine is just purely fashion. I was in Primark, which, if you don't know, is a supermarket over here in the UK. Not a supermarket, a massive clothes home shop. I walked in there and there was some Greggs Crocs. Now, if you've never heard of Greggs, Google it, because it's a baker's and they do sausage rolls and pasties and pies and donuts and all this other sort of stuff. And they've got fur lining. Oh, man, they are the most comfiest shoes I ever own here, I've got to be honest. Are my fur-lined Gregg Crocs, fresh from the shelves of Primark. And I wear them all the time. Tom, you're missing out. You need to get yourself a pair of Crocs.
Well, I may put it on my birthday or Christmas list to see if I can maybe get the most comfortable Crocs out there. I'll bear that in mind for future reference.
When's your birthday?
3rd of December.
Oh, blimey, a long way away. Well, message me closer to your birthday with your address and I'll send you a pair of Crocs. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, I'll keep that in mind for later in the year.
Hey, we can't do any more than that, YouTube, can we? If we're going to offer somebody a birthday present of a nice, comfy pair of Crocs as well. Let me know if you wear Crocs in YouTube chat. I just say, I live in mine. Literally live in mine. Ben Harkham, Tyler Merritt still battling away. They're almost 50 laps in. The only pit stops, the first person in the pit stop cycle was down with Cameron Kane. He is the first person to stop currently, so on the racetrack at the moment, and then we've got Tex Nichols, Sawyer Mullins, Mike Weeder, Patrick Swissome and Alex Goff behind that. It does, however, look like Goff might be out here, and he is out, unfortunately, for Alex Goff. No real reason at all. There's not been any form of incidents or accidents by what I can see involving Goff. Maybe he just hit the wall too many times, but they have got a fast repair that they can use, and let's see how they get on that one. Don't forget, as they've been racing this season, this is round 3. We've had rounds 1 and 2, and well, by what I've seen of the recap videos that you can look at over at Triple Bypass Racing, they have been absolutely amazing races. They've been to Dega, they've been to Bristol, and 2 epic racetracks that I absolutely adore. You can go and check them out over at if you YouTube Triple Bypass Racing, you will go and find the recaps for Daytona and for Dega and Bristol if you so wish. Tyler Merritt doing a great job out front at the moment. These 3 very much keeping each other honest. There's a back marker in the mix as well. Now, rules of NASCAR, back markers don't really have to get out of the way. They can stay in the wheel tracks of the leaders as long as they don't cause any major problems. This is due to what they call the lucky dog rule, which basically if a yellow does come out, the first person, generally a lap down, will go round the field and get their lap back, and then it obviously will go to the next one, next one, and next one all the way down. So that's why they race up front to keep ahead, and that's why we've got the number 6 machine, I believe it is, which is Mike Weeder, currently mixing it up with the leaders. So there you go, as we're halfway through, near enough, on lap 52. No pit stops from the first 14 on the racetrack. It's got to be coming soon, no, Tom, wouldn't you think, being out on lap 53?
Yeah, well, you've mentioned they've got 3 sets of tyres, actually, so the fact that the leaders have managed to stay out there on their single set so far could pay dividends later, but I'd be interested to know how quickly those who have pitted are doing. Surely they can't be too far away, maybe completing an undercut to go into a race leading position, perhaps.
Well, the thing is, I think that varies at the moment, because Cameron Kane is the first man here in that 37. He's on a 32.6 last time out. The leaders were still in that 31.9, but obviously we held up. I think there was traffic there in the way, so I think we'll be gauging better where Cameron Kane's going to be this time around. Kane pitted all the way down on lap 17, mind you. He's another one that's run quite far on his tyres, so we'll have to keep an eye out for Cameron Kane and see how he gets on. He is the first person a lap down. John Crutchley in that 48 machine has got the brightly liveried of Chris Melton behind him. So John Crutchley has got this behind him here of Chris Melton. It's a very much a mind game in this race. That, you know, the front 3 are kind of around and play with each other and get a little bit. You know, you've got Ben Harkham that almost seems to be putting Tyler Merritt through his paces just to see if Tyler can scrub some of that tyre wear off his tyres, make his car loose, he'll end up in the wall. Then obviously for Ben Harkham, he's able to get through. However, Ben has just lost a place to Brad Kress as I speak, so maybe Ben in that Toyota Supra's tyres might be going off first before the front 2.
Are they looking to maybe do the one stop then? Because those who pitted earlier, I think, are inclined to do a 2 stop. So it's just how much time are they going to need to find to get themselves back in sync with back in for the race win?
Well, it's going to be very difficult for them. They've got to be realising where the pit entry and exit is, and they've got to try and approach that as fast as possible. Now, in iRacing, there's no speed limiter, so they can't drop off and go, oh, I'm going to go in now and press the button. They can't do that. They have to go and get the car down to speed. Now, the pit lane entry, as you come round turn 3, is actually on the left-hand side here. There it is with the water barrels. So they've got to come off the high side of the circuit. They've got to drop down onto the apron. They've got to get the car stopped first because they don't want a speeding penalty, and then they've got to get it out the other side without also causing a speed penalty because they haven't got any pit lane limiters. There's nothing there for them to press. There's no buttons to say, right, there you go, you're down to speed like there is in other cars. These cars don't have that. They are basically very basic in their modern technology of what we're talking about generally in road racing. So there's a lot to think about at the moment, and it's for, there we go. As we've just seen Tyler Merritt hit the wall, and that should free up Brad Crest to take the lead. It does at the moment, but Tyler Merritt still trying to come back at him here once again. Tyler in that number 38 Ford with Brad Crest in the Big Ridge Boys Racing team in first place now, up 2 places. One simple mistake Thomas hitting the wall that Tyler did slowed him right down. He lost his momentum. Brad Crest went through.
Yep, Crest was waiting for that kind of moment all day long, and now is into the race lead, albeit for how long, because we're just waiting for pit stops to happen involving the leaders. I mean, is it possible to even go through the entire race without stopping?
I don't think they can. I don't think the fuel will allow them to. I think their fuel, they are all 100% fuel, so no, they just physically can't. I don't think it's possible here. They're going to have to stop. Jason Benson is in. The first of the high front runners here is into the pits is Jason. And there's a couple of others in there as well. Jonathan Wiley and Sawyer Mullins. Sawyer's on his way, going to be on his way out very, very shortly. Benson there, the first of the runners to go in. So a lot to comprehend with at the moment as we start coming into that pit stop cycle. There you go. That's how slow it is. Tyler Merritt, your leader, is dropping down the order, but is now into the pit lane.
Yep, so Merritt needs a really strong stop here because this is going to be his only stop of the race, and he doesn't know when his rivals are going to be doing the same. I don't suppose we've got a pit stop clock, unless I'll time it actually on my phone to keep us on track with what they are doing in terms of pit stop time. So Merritt will stop in his box in a moment. And he's coming into his box now. I'll start the clock, and there we go. So he's on his marks there, the car on the jacks, get the wheels changed. Fuel will obviously need to be put in, and it should be leaving his box now. There we go. So I timed that at 14.8 seconds, James.
Yeah, great pit stop there from Mr. Merritt. Well, as he's back out on the racetrack now, he is currently a whole lap down over on the leaders. Then we've got Ben Harkin, Brad Cress, Al Corey, Matt Harmon and Michael Seymour has come into the pits. John Campbell, one of the others that have not pitted. Where is Tyler going to come out in conjunction? He's going past some of the guys in the pit lane now. He's gone past Seymour. Has he gone past Harmon? He has. Where is Ben Harkin though? That's going to be the question. Can Ben and Brad get up to speed quick enough? There goes Tyler Merritt. It's a race off pit lane. Merritt has got the jump. He's got the lead. Going to have the effective lead back of the racetrack on the racetrack itself there. Great move from Tyler Merritt. He went in early, got the pit stop done, and has managed to come out in front of Brad Cress and Ben Harkham.
Yeah, that was coming all along, and I think that's the power of having the undercut with the fresher tyres, and he's actually got a bigger lead than what he had before the pit stops had begun between the leaders. So Merritt into the lead on Merritt, and he should be able to pull away from those behind like the likes of Cress, Harkin and Herzog. And yeah, now if you are someone that's going to be fighting for the win, is it worth trying something different, or is it just a matter of just stay in touch with the leaders ahead and see what happens?
Stay in touch. You don't want to do anything over the next 30, 40 laps, to be honest. Everything generally will happen in the last 10 laps. That's where we're looking at what the action pact will be, and that will purely be because people will start moving their cars into position. They'll start wiggling to get to the front or trying to catch up to the guys in front. So we'll have to see how it goes through. John Campbell going into the pits. He's just gone overtaken by Cress and also Ben Harcombe. Herzog, I'm sure, will probably look at doing the same over JC. JC's on his markers, but I've got a funny feeling Herzog and possibly Benson and maybe even Harmon will make it past here as well. It's a long pit lane. I think that's the thing with this racetrack. It's a long pit lane. They've got to get it down to speed manually as well, and not always the most easiest thing to do.
No, it's not, and you lose a lot of time having to adhere to the pit lane speed limit and the timing of getting the stop done. So there's a lot that you have to get right, and if you are battling for the race lead, you have to do it as quick as possible. It's no good just being safe by not going over the pit lane speed limit. You've got to be pretty much on target without going over the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, and you don't want to be missing your pit box or ended up having to reverse into the pits as Harcombe and Crest still continue their fight. Then we've got JC, John Campbell, he's just heading out to the pits. He goes past the cones there as well on the right hand side. You did see the blue line and the blue cone, and they've got to cross between the two to get back out onto the racetrack safely. Al Corey is another one. He's down in 15th place at the moment, and he is going past. That was Tex Nichols in the number 60 Ford there. So Al Corey making moves through. Another one is Chris Melton. He's got Michael Seymour currently behind him here. So these guys having a tremendous battle out on the racetrack, and this will carry on probably for the next 30 laps before anyone really starts making moves to go forward.
Well, those who are pitted earlier, I would imagine they're going to be in the pits again before this race is over, but they're already so far behind the leaders anyway. So yeah, I think it's safe to say it's a 3-horse race for the race win between Tyler Merritt, Ben Harkin and Brad Crest. So as they make their way through, and it looks like just under what's the gap now as we speak. So it's less than 3 seconds between the top three. Herzog is too far back in 4th place. He's going to have to hope for misfortunes of those ahead if he's got any chance of coming away with the race win. Got just over 55 laps to go, or about 55 laps remaining in this race. Merritt is the one in control ahead of Harkin and Crest.
Yeah, he is. Mr. Thumbsticks himself. They've got to basically laps over pretty much most of the field. Matt Harmon will be the next one they're going to come up to the back of, I believe, here. So Matt's got to be a little bit careful because he has got the leaders starting to bear down on them, and that is in the shape of Mr. Tyler Merritt. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how these guys get on as well. It's going to be very, very interesting, at least for the next 28 laps before we get to that 100 mark, and probably once we get past that 100 mark we'll start really seeing the shape of the field itself here and how they get on as well. Tom, if I gave you one racetrack and an unlimited amount of money, which racetrack would you go to?
Depends on the budget that gets given to me.
It's an unlimited amount.
Sorry, say again.
Unlimited amount of money. Which racetrack would you go to?
Okay. In terms of racetrack, it's a very, very tough one to answer. I'd absolutely love to go to Le Mans. For the experience of what the 24 Hours of Le Mans is like, and getting to sort of explore the circuit whilst the event is going on, understand how the series works, understanding the cars, understanding the team personnel behind the scenes, just everything. And it's something different as well for those who perhaps follow Formula 1 so much, maybe too much, to the point where they may not follow other motor racing championships like, the World Endurance Championship and NASCAR and so and so. But this is why, motorsport like NASCAR and IndyCar and the World Endurance Championship, and a lot of the other series that are going on at the moment, particularly these sort of junior championships, shouldn't really go unnoticed, because they do actually produce some really, really good racing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Once you learn with what specific series does in conjunction with you don't just get in a car and turn left, I think you start realizing then what is involved in these cars, and then you start enjoying it, and then you start seeing where people are wiggling and moving, and then you've got Dega and Daytona, the full flat kind of circuits, and then you've got the tight little Martinsvilles, the Bristols, the Darlingtons, the Dovers, all very difficult to get hold of and get to grips with. So I think that's why for me NASCAR would be so varied. Obviously from myself, if I went to a racetrack, it'd be the weekend at Martinsville, which I am hopefully going to be able to persuade my wife to come with me next year. So for the 2025 Martinsville weekend, hopefully they'll have all three there. That's probably where I would be heading, Tom, if I can.
Well, that's good for you. I mean, I was lucky enough to go to Darlington the other week for British Touring Cars. British Touring Cars is another championship that shouldn't go unnoticed, and a lot of the support races that are happening on British Touring Car weekends, the racing you see that is quite magnificent. I was watching like some Radicals, Legends as well. There's the Legends cars that you see there actually do show some wheel-to-wheel action. Unfortunately, there was a huge accident actually where I think it was like the second place driver and the third place driver collided on the Starkey straight. And because of the contact, one of the cars just ended up barrel rolling on the grass, which was very nasty, but thankfully the driver walked away from it. But, you know, it's a good day out. It's a good family weekend away. It was cold and it was raining on the Sunday morning, but we got through it, and it was a weekend which I don't regret doing.
No, well, I'm not going to regret my Sunday that I'm heading down to Thruxton for the touring car weekend on June the 9th there. So I'll be at Thruxton that weekend with the family for that one. So I'm really looking forward to that, because nothing better than a bit of BTCC, but nothing better than watching these guys hurtle around. We've not had, and I'm going to say this in a loose term yet, there has not been one incident that could cause a flag colour to come out onto the racetrack. So, you know, when I said quite low numbers, I'd like to think I'm winning. Gotta be honest. But there we go. We'll have to keep an eye and see what goes on here, and whether or not these guys are going to have this moment, or any moment that's going to come along here. Ben Harcum is trying to chase down Mr. Merritt, who's in front. There is Tyler there on the outside. That is a back marker in front of these guys as well, and that is Mr. Melton. Chris Melton has just gone a lap down over the leader. Chris sitting in 7th at the moment, so Chris just gone down a lap there, trying to come back through though. You know, fair play to him as long as he doesn't take out the leader.
Yeah, the last thing he wants to be doing is getting in a tangle with race leader Tyler Merritt as they go through turn number 1. Swiss Elm has just rejoined the racetrack, albeit 8 laps behind. Nichols, Wiley and Sanderson have been in the pits for a while as well, so I can imagine the races are more or less finished.
Yeah, I would have thought so. But yeah, you've not got the caution count at the moment to basically justifiably say to them, right, you're going to be able to get back on the lead lap because you're a long way back. But Ward Fisher has just had Al Corey go hurtling past him in that 45 machine Chevy there, in his famous Canadian Tire liveried machine. The man from Canada who now is residing in Dallas. So fair play to Al Corey. Great job from him. Ben Harcum still catching up to the back of Tyler Merritt. He's using the draft of Chris Melton to give him a hand here as well, Tom. Going into now, we've got 41 laps remaining. Do you think in general, seeing that some of the guys have taken this car to lap 61, we could see another pit stop? Or do you think overall they could run straight to the end?
I think the mind games are going to continue. We'll have to wait and see what they decide to do, because the thing is, they are sat behind a driver and the slipstream is carrying them forward. They're not using up as much fuel as the driver who's at the head of the queue. So it's just a matter of whether you want to be the leader right now or not. It's like in a Formula E race, where if you are sat in the tow or in the slipstream with the car ahead, you are not using as much battery power or energy as the car who's at the head of the queue.
Yeah, it works exactly the same way. The car up front is obviously going to be using the most fuel. The car behind has got, you can lift and he can coast in and he can save fuel and do all whatever he wants to do in the car if he needs to be able to get to the end. So he can use Merritt here for Harkham, can use him as a bit of a fuel saving, tyre saving strategy if he wants to. But we'll have to see what happens here with this pit stop cycle. There are some people in that have gone into 2 stops now. That's Chris Kane, Mike Weeder, Patrick Swisselm, Tex Nichols. You've got Jonathan Wiley's out at the moment, so Tex Nichols is the last official runner on the race circuit. And then you've got Merritt and Harkham, who of course are the front 2 battling it out here, as they have been for pretty much the whole of this race here at Tom as well.
Yeah, so we've just seen that Melton's got back on the lead lap now, so he's got all to do to catch Harman in 6th place. Merritt right now will just be happy to let Melton go, and just if he can just stay in the slipstream of him, that should be able to help give him the buffer he needs to fend off the Harkham and press. You can just see Harkham scrubbing the wall there mid-corner. I don't know how much that's going to help his cause. But Merritt won't be focusing on him. Merritt just needs to focus on his own driver and not what is going on behind it.
Yeah, you can see Tyler Merritt there in the front at the moment. And these guys continue to fight it out. I think it's now, guys, great time for me and Tom just to grab 2 seconds. We're going to get a drink. We'll be right back after this. Okay guys, we are back on lap 94 for the Airline Workers Appreciation 125 here from Darlington for the NicolsOilPros.com series with the Triple Bypass League. Thank you so much for joining us. All you people that predicted cautions of 6 and 4 and little old me down here with barely picking any, and basically we have gone green for 95 laps. Not often you see that, Tom, in the NASCAR series.
No, definitely not. I think the fact that we've had the size of the field for tonight, we had 21 starters for this one, so that probably had a role to play. But more importantly, the drivers have behaved very, very well from start to finish. And hopefully it remains that way to the end, which would be a very unusual scenario to have no cautions whatsoever, just sort of straight lights to flag victory.
Yeah, and at the moment, Mr. Merritt has still got that victory in his sight. John Campbell down here, he is trying to chase down today's sponsor, the man himself as well. Big shout out to Will Jester for sponsoring today's race in that number 74 Chevy there. Was asked to bring him in and have a chat with him, but we've not got a caution to be able to do that, so I don't want to bring him in mid-race. I'll probably scare the living hell out of him if I started talking in his ear. Don't forget guys as well, 5 nights of racing: Sundays Gen 4s, for Tuesdays SRX, Wednesdays road racing, Thursdays Xfinity, and Friday is the GTP GT3 series. Head to triplebypassracing.com and you can find all the information there you need, including a Discord invite if you so want to. But another big shout out to Will Jester, today's sponsor, who is currently in 10th place and 1 lap down at the moment. But JC trying to keep him honest here as well. JC John Campbell, the only Australian in the field, doing a great job at the moment, chasing down Will Jester, sitting at 11th, Tom.
Yeah, so there's a nice battle going on between these two for a top 10 placing. And Campbell just waiting back a little bit. Is he going to try and get into the slipstream, maybe get alongside? Not quite so yet. They will need to be wary of the leaders coming round. I don't know where they are on circuit in comparison to these two. We are looking on the track map.
Right behind them.
The dots obviously right behind them, yeah. So they'll need to be wary that the leaders are going to be coming around to let them again. So they've got a bit of a number of car lengths between Campbell and Merritt. We're looking at... Oh, has he clipped the wall? I think he's clipped the wall as Campbell. So he needs to be very careful he doesn't get in the way of the leaders if he's going to be this slow.
Yeah, I think they're going to get caught very, very soon. We're going into the last 25 laps now. Lap 100 has passed. Merritt in this 38 Ford is out in front at the moment, doing an absolute stellar job. He has been nothing but secure in that car, and he's done an incredible job here. And it's great moves from him. This is the high line they're running. You can see how close they are to the wall of Darlington as he comes out of free. He's got to keep off that wall. Past Barney, the flag bearer on the right hand side. It just gives you a sensation of how close these guys are running to this wall. That's what we mean about the right front. You can see it rotating there as well. Every time he turns right, left, it's just scrubbing the car, scrubbing that tyre, and that's why the right side gets lower than the left side does, because it's just trying to turn the car that, you know, it's not easy to turn when it's running at speeds that it is running at.
So Merritt is just making his way through the back markers more. Harkham's still under a second behind. I think Cress has pulled out that battle now, it feels like. So have we come down to a two-horse race from here to the checkered flag?
Well, I would still say it's a little bit early to say, but if Tyler carries on and he gets into the final 15 and he's still got this amount of lead, I'd probably say it's down to a one-horse race and whether or not Tyler can keep it on the racetrack.
He's got some back markers he needs to negotiate. There's Will Jester that he is about to put a lap on for the second time. Jester doesn't get in the way, which it's good of him to just remain out of it. That's the best way to allow the leaders to go through. You have to obviously lift off the power before you get to a corner, because when you get into the corner, you're pretty much on the apex to where the leader is going to be filing through. So that's why you need to be off the racing line on the straight to let the leaders go through before they get to the banking.
Yeah, I think he's really wants to try here for Ben Harkham. He's got to try and clear these guys as quickly as possible to keep in with any form of contact of Tyler Merritt. You see Ward Fisher climbing all over the back of Ben Harkham at the moment, and Ward Fisher pitted on lap 87, so he's on definitely fresher tyres than Ben Harkham, who pitted back down on lap 62, about 25 laps in conjunction. Harkham's struggling there. He's just put that car up into the wall. He's just ran that wall side. JC and Will are now back together. Now the leaders have gone through, and you can currently see at the moment Tyler Merritt here, Tom, has just got to keep it on the racetrack, keep it going, avoid the traffic as best he can, and he's wrapped up this win, surely.
Yeah, it felt to me like Jester didn't make it as easy for Harkham to get by as he did with Merritt. That has given Merritt the buffer he needs now, I'd have thought. And like you say, he just needs to make no more mistakes from here on in, and victory will be his, which I believe will put him into the lead of the championship standings. Well, he'll remain in the lead in the championship standings because he came into this 3 points clear of Jeff Slaughter and Al Corey. Where is Al Corey in relation to everything? He is in P12, so he's going to fall quite a bit back from Merritt by the end of tonight's results.
Yeah, he will.
Oh, that was a clip. That was the clip from Merritt. Merritt clipped the barrier there, and he nearly carried the 84 with him. And that is going to give Harkham a little bit more encouragement.
Yeah, it will. Ben Harkham still 1.3 back, but Merritt did clip the wall and have slight little bit of contact with Ward Fisher as he's coming out of turn 2. They run up into the wall. He goes 19 to go. If he does that again, I can tell you one thing, Harkham's going to be over him like it flies around a honeypot on that one, and it will continue here for Ben Harkham as he can now see Tyler Merritt and see the mistake he's made. John Campbell has got Al Corey, who's got Will Jester in front as well. That is third place man Brad Cress. He's trying to come through the traffic at the same time. Great mixture of the guys up front trying to come through and the guys that are pitted after them trying to re-overtake them again. So it's a very different ball game of racing we've got going on at the moment.
Yeah, Melton's come into the pits. He was in P7 before he went into pit road, and that's put him out of contention, I thought, to be in the top 10. And yeah, things are starting to really hot up in the closing stages. We've got 17 laps to go, and we're looking at the number 9 of Brad Crest, who's trying to make his way through the traffic still. He's still got a few seconds to make up on Ben Harkham ahead. Has he got enough time to get a move on? I mean, he's got to start pushing because we haven't got long left.
Yeah, 16 laps here on the clock. Let's see what goes on once more with these guys. I don't think, to be honest, I think if you put any more than 0 cautions, that's possibly what you're looking at getting at the moment, because currently there has not been one, and I am not expecting any. There's Al Corey goes and sends it up the inside of Will Jester, and Will comes off the wall at him as well, then goes back and hits the wall again. Al Corey's now trying to get that run on the inside. We've got Brad Crest in third place here, probably really wishing that these guys would not fight and allow him to go through, but they're battling for position on the racetrack. Crest has got to make his way cleanly through. The question is here, Tom, where does he make it cleanly?
Well, is up the inside is the number, trying to get the number there, if he's number 45 coming through. So that is him through on Chester at the end there is Corey. He's got the third placeman Brad Crest trying to make his way through. He's losing time by simply being stuck behind them.
Yep. Corey has cleared Jester. Now Cress has got past Jester as well. Crutchley has got Seymour in front of him. Crutchley's going to go underneath him. Seymour's just gone and hit the wall. Another one struggling with 14 to go, but at the moment it is all on Merritt. What's Merritt going to be able to do? Can he take this victory with 13 laps to go? He's just got to keep it on the circuit. Stay out of them walls. Stay away from the back markers, and I can't see Ben Harkham getting anywhere near him, to be honest, and I think Tyler's just done a great job leading pretty much from start to finish.
Merritt has had it all under control, hasn't he? Harkham is over a couple of seconds back. I don't know whether he's just backed out of the challenge, but Merritt is on his way to victory and extend his lead at the top of the championship. He'll have a new challenger in the fight for the title. I mean, it's still early days in the championship. This is only race 3 of their campaign, with a lot more races to come.
It definitely is, and I think overall it's going to be a very interesting season in these Xfinity cars here and how these guys are going to get on. We have got Atlanta Motor Speedway, Sonoma Raceway, that's a road circuit, Iowa Speedway, Rockingham Speedway, Auto Club Speedway, National Fairgrounds Speedway, Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, though not the oval, which I'm quite surprised about. I thought they might have gone to the oval, but they're not. They're going to the road course. And then, of course, on from that, you got Richmond, Indianapolis again, this time going to the oval with Charlotte, and finishing off the last race of the season on August 16th or August 15th it will be for these guys. We're heading to Michigan International Speedway. That alone is a very mouth-watering calendar there, Tom, and I think these guys have got so much to look forward to in this season. It's going to be such an awesome season.
A lot of brilliant racetracks. I'm sure the Americans, as well as the Canadian of Mike Weeder and the Australian John Campbell, we'll be looking forward to in the near future. I thought I saw Merritt clip his right rear against the wall ever so slightly. I'm just watching him take the lines as he's through the course. I think he should be alright, actually, because he's got a good lead with 9 laps to go. He's got this one in his pocket. I don't think he's got any more back markers that he'll need to negotiate. Having said that, he's got about 3 or 4 just ahead of him.
Yeah, he has, and starting off with the 14th place man of Ward Fisher, and then you've got the number 6 of Matt Harmon, the number 5 of Benson in there as well, and Michael Seymour, Al Corey are still continuing to fight it out. JC there as well with Will Jester in front of him, 8 to go currently. And at the moment, it is all about Tyler Merritt, 2.4 seconds ahead of Ben Harkham. John Campbell gets all a little bit loose there. Will Jester does manage to hold on to that position. JC loses some space, and into the mix as well is Mike Weeder, the Canadian there, in that Valvoline Ford. Goes through over currently Will Jester, and who's done a stellar job here as well. Don't forget as well, big shout out to Will, the sponsor of today's race, and he is in that number 74 Toyota there as well, so in a Chevrolet, sorry. So Will Jester, thank you so much for sponsoring today's race. 7 to go now. Who's going to manage to take this one? Well, I can tell you one thing, JC's closing back up on Will. If Will's not careful here, he's going to have a problem. 6 to go, and so far so you've got to think it really, as racing goes, they've gone around the racetrack and they've knocked off the laps, and it's been quite anticlimactic, hasn't it? Because we picked up Darlington as what could be a little bit of a yellow flag situation, and we haven't had any.
No, and it's great to see that the drivers have kept their noses clean all the way through. We have seen some drivers pull out. I mean, Wiley Sanderson, Mullen and Brock not going to finish this one. Swiss Telm is the last of those still running in 17th place, albeit 12 laps off the race leader. 4
to go very, very shortly. And and he's going to be coming now into the number 13 machine of Chris Melton. Chris there will be probably the last car really that Tyler will get the opportunity to overtake. Ben Harcum's about 3 seconds out on him as well, and I think as driving goes, as you're driving a NASCAR and you're driving an oval, Tom, this is about as perfect as you want it.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant race from Merritt, battling it out with Harcum and Cress in the opening stages, and I think obviously what's helped it is the fact there's not been any cautions, otherwise he'd have had more of a fight on his hands, and he's only got about 4 miles to get through now, and the victory will be his.
Yeah, and it will be a big shout out to that number 38 machine of Tyler Merritt, who's done a great job. He has literally led from pretty much lap 1 right the way through. Now we're going into 2 more to go. We'll keep an eye on that one. We will see a white flag pop up. JC still trying to close down on Will Jester, trying his absolute hardest is JC, but he's just not being able to get there and hasn't been able to get there for quite a few laps. So JC is going to have to sit and wait a little bit more if he can get hold of him again coming out of turn 2. You see Will's just gone and hit the wall, and we will be on the white flag lap this time around. Tyler Merritt will take the white flag if he doesn't do that, which he did do, and now we are on our way round the final lap. The next 29 seconds are going to be the longest 29 seconds of Merritt's life here, as he knows he's got the victory. He knows he's got it over Harcum. He's driven an absolute stellar race once more. Round turn 4 for the final time. It's going to be Tyler Merritt is going to win the Airline Workers Appreciation 125, and he's going to do it in style, taking it by 3.25 seconds. Ben Harcum comes over the line in second place. Brad Kress in third there, and then all the other, Mark Herzog, Jason Benson and Matt Harmon come over the line. That was JC's finish. Will Jester's finished. Absolutely stellar racing, and about for Tyler Merritt, about as perfect as it could be. Tom, he was on literally almost like a Sunday drive with his grandma.
Yeah, well, that was like the drive through his favourite car parking area near his local supermarket. But he'll take this one. Absolutely remarkable performance, very, very clean all the way through, and we've not had a single caution. I think that race was done in just over an hour. So it's fantastic to see that the race has been done in a timely manner, and it's time to run down on the race result.
Yeah, Tyler Merritt is your winner with Ben Harcum in second, Brad Kress in third. Then you've got Mark Herzog in fourth, Jason Benson in fifth, Matt Harmon in sixth, John Crutchley in seventh, Michael Seymour eighth. Then you've got Al Corey in ninth, Will Jester in 10th, John Campbell, Cameron Kane, Chris Melton, Ward Fisher, Mike Weeder, Tex Nichols there, Tex 10 laps down. Patrick Swissholm is the next one in 17th. Jonathan Wiley, Cody Sanders not finishing, Sawyer Mullins not finishing, and Alex Goff not finishing either. I think it's time we have a chat, and I'm going to start it off. Oh, hold on, as I went to move somebody there as well. We are going to have a chat with today's sponsor, Mr. Will Jester. Will, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Mate, I'm all right. Do you know what? I've just watched a race that was expected to be a little bit calamitous with a few cautions, and you've just gone green without any.
Yeah, we got a great group of racers here. A lot of respect between everyone, a lot of give and take, so I think that really contributed to tonight.
Yeah, I do fully agree. Will, why the Airline Workers Appreciation?
Just recognizing the flight crews with the summer flying season beginning here shortly, away from families a lot, and we're going to be working, especially here in the States, through some adverse weather and stuff, and all that fun stuff, all the traveling.
Well, There you go. And Will, going forward, how are you looking for the rest of the season? We're going to see you on board for the rest of it.
As I get Thursdays off from work, I'll be here.
Awesome stuff. Well, Will, thanks so much for joining us as well, and much appreciated for sponsoring today's race. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
It's my pleasure. The admin team, the great racing league we have here, all the competitors, and everyone watching.
Well, awesome job. Well, thank you so much there, buddy, and look forward to having a chat with you as the season goes on.
I think so. Maybe I'll see you next week. Have a good night.
And you, man. Take care. Right. Oh, what is going on here? There we go. Will is gone. Right, next up we will pull Mr. Tyler Thumbsticks Merritt up into the booth as well. Tyler, welcome in. He's gone on a drive around Darlington with his favourite grandma strapped to the passenger seat as he led from pretty much lap 1 all the way through the whole race to the very end. Tyler, welcome in, buddy. Great driving.
Thanks, man. This was definitely a interesting and chaotic race. I'm very happy we went caution free, even though my tires did not like it whatsoever.
Yeah, you said chaotic. Now, for us, there wasn't any. We've literally just got that done in literally just over an hour. Where was the chaos apart from the odd slide up into the wall? I didn't really see a lot else, to be honest. I didn't see back markers causing you a major drama, and you know full well that I'll be the first ones to call it out if it happens. But yeah, it just seems to be a nice little poodle around Darlington for you.
Oh, it was not it was more chaotic just trying to anticipate where cars on the wall are going to go, or if, like, I think it was 2-3 times I got on the wall and my car almost snapped left, and I had to pretty much try my hardest to keep it in the wall so it wouldn't snap left and spin. I suck here, and this is my first podium at this track ever in a league or a rigged race, so I'm also happy to get my first dub here as well.
Well, that ain't bad, is it? Your first podium becomes your first win at a racetrack that you say you're awful at.
Yeah, I was expecting Ben or Brad to catch me tonight. I really was. Especially Brad with how much he caught up to me and Ben at the end of the first run.
Yeah, well, I think the backmarkers had a little bit of a play in that. You got through, Ben took a little bit longer to get through, and Brad couldn't really make his way through. So, yeah, a bit of a struggle. But well done, dear sir. Thank you so much for joining me. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I want to thank Jeff McConaughey as always, my team's Full Send Racing, and my esports org, Wanted Goons. And I want to thank you two guys for the amazing broadcast as usual, and Tex for sponsoring the series, and all the league admins for creating fun, well, I'd say fun racing that's always equal. There's no favorites, for admin decision or anything. These guys have created the one league I think that has never had any favoritism. I think so anyway.
I agree.
So shout to them.
Awesome stuff.
Yep, and amazing broadcast as always, guys.
Thank you very much there, young sir. We aim to deliver every single time, Tyler, but great win from you, buddy. Look forward to seeing you as the season goes on.
All right, you too. I'm hoping to finally win a championship. I'm gonna run the full season, even if I hate some of the tracks.
Ooh, Tyler, look at you getting all feisty in the interview. Go on, son. Put the marker down now and let's see how you get on. But good luck, buddy. I'll be interested to see now.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks, guys. I hope to see you all tomorrow. See ya.
Right, then we'll have a quick chat with Mr. Ben Harkham, who forever saw himself in second place here. He didn't quite get to the front, but did back markers play a key? Well, let's find out here as well. Ben, welcome in, buddy. How are you? Ben? Ben? I'm guessing Ben is not there. Okay, well, let's put Ben down here as well. We'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go to the third place man, Mr. Brad Kress. He was having a great battle up front with Tyler and Ben Harkham. And let's see how he thinks where his race was won and lost. Brad, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm not too bad at all. Now, listen, you were up the front pretty much most of the race. Never really dropped out of anywhere major. I'm not really going to count pit stops because, you know, you guys all like to take them. Did you think you were ever going to get the win away from Tyler? Because he was looking quick this evening.
I thought toward the end of the run I might be able to catch him because the end of the first run I kind of pulled him in a little bit. But on that second run, I caught lap cars at the most horrible places you could catch them. And they just got away from me.
Yeah, I did notice that there was moments where the other two managed to wiggle their way through and then you just couldn't quite make it through out there. How was it driving without a respite? Because obviously, you know, you got no stage breaks, we didn't have any cautions. You all like to try and make a green flag pit stop, which, as we know, on most racetracks is hairy, let alone one that is hairy enough as Darlington as well. You know, how did you keep your focus and concentration out there?
It was very, very hard. I can tell you that. Especially, you know, having to run so close to the wall through 1 and 2, I was having to remind myself to not put it into the wall. But yeah, the pit road that you were talking about, pit road at Darlington is one of the worst on.
Yeah, it is.
Just trying to get the car slowed down and get turned in. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, it is. It's partly because your entry starts really round turn 3, doesn't it? You start coming off 3, and then you're just kind of almost trying to go speeding round the corner. But if you go too fast, you ain't getting it stopped before the yellow line. And the only thing that you can see after that is a pit lane penalty. And you definitely did not want that. But you've done an absolutely amazing job here as well. So thank you again for joining me. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I wanted to shout out you guys for putting this on. I love going back and watching them. And shout out to my aunt and uncle. And hope my uncle gets to feeling better pretty soon. I just found out he's not feeling too well, so hope he gets to feeling better.
Well, get well soon, Mr. What's his surname, Brad?
Kress, sorry.
Oh, it's the same. Okay. Well, Mr. Kress, get well soon, dear sir. Much love from us up here in the JPB booth as well, and hope for a speedy recovery. Brad, thank you so much for joining us there, buddy, and look forward to seeing how you get on as the season goes on.
All right, thank you, guys.
Right, now let's try the second place man one last time. Is Ben Harkham in the booth? Can I hear me?
Yep, I can. I got you.
Good. Hello, dear sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about y'all?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Spent most of your time staring at Mr. Thumbsticks' rear end for pretty much most of that race, Ben. Did you ever think you were going to get near him and get past him? It was close.
I thought I could get past him a couple of times, but it was some great close racing. It was really fun. I love Darlington.
Do you? Because Tyler said it's his first ever podium in any league race or any race in iRacing here. It's a track that he doesn't like, and it's his first ever win. So, you know, for somebody that doesn't like the circuit, he did rather well. But for you who did like the circuit, do you see this as a missed opportunity, Ben, or do you think, do you know what, I'm all right, I'm happy with that. Second is good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I tried after that first pit stop we did. I think I burnt my stuff up trying to catch back up to him, getting through all the traffic there, and I think I burnt all my stuff up.
Yeah, it was quite tough, wasn't it? The problem is with Darlington is unless you catch him on a straightaway, you're kind of almost waiting to get to that straightaway because the corners are really quite hard to overtake on.
Yep.
Look at that. Short and sweet there, Ben. One word answer. Thanks, mate. Ben, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, bud?
Oh, shout out to Will Jesser for sponsoring tonight's race. Shout out to y'all for broadcasting these wonderful races, and shout out to everybody at TBP.
Awesome stuff. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us there, buddy, and look forward to seeing how you get on for the rest of the season.
Alrighty.
Take care.
See ya.
Well, there you go, guys. I think we can safely say that was a very speedy evening of racing. Mike Tex Nichols, 0 cautions race. Wow. Well, if you've never done triple bypass before, that is exactly what you get here as well. But final words from Tom. Tom, how was it for you? Your first real main experience of NASCAR?
It was a brilliant race, a very, very clean one, very, very quick. And I think the drivers will be very, very happy to have got through that. Safe and sound, and they'll be raring to do more next week.
Yep, absolutely. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. That's going to round it up here from us up here in the JPB booth. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns here this evening. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.